Just into our newsroom, the Lake Providence police chief has died.
And the mayor confirmed that police chief Aaron Threets died at 3:30 this afternoon at a local hospital. The acting police chief says that Threets had been in the hospital since last Friday battling an illness. He was 58 years old. The cause of his death has not been released.
However, a Facebook post from the East Carroll Police Jury, it says, "We offer our condolences to Rudy Threets' family, the Lake Providence Police Department, and to the citizens of Lake Providence. The passing of our police chief is news we did not want to hear today. The chief was a fair and compassionate person who only had the well-being of our citizens at heart. Chief Threets will be missed in our community. Rest easy, LP1." Meantime, Natchez police are going to be using a new tool to fight crime.
That's right. Police are installing crime-fighting cameras. Perry Robinson got a look at how they're helping out.
Fighting crime isn't easy. So Natchez PD is relying on some brand new tools.
We in law enforcement have to be willing to think outside the box, to do something different.
The city partnered with the nonprofit Project NOLA. The group installs HD crime cameras in select cities across the country. In Natchez, it means 25 extra set of eyes.
Some of those areas that we were getting a large call volume and violent crime, it has plummeted.
In 2018, Chief Armstrong says the city had 12 homicides. So far in 2019, just one, due in part to these cameras. When people heard about the camera's effects, 2 local businesses stepped up, donating $3,000 to install some more.
When we heard the idea and the great things and the great response to the Project NOLA and the way it's deterred crime, we agree that we want this to be a crime-free community as much as possible.
The cameras are live and consistently monitored. Thanks to their gunshot detection technology, the chief says they were able to solve a recent shooting.
Where someone was actually shot. They survived, but when law enforcement got there, we saw a large gathering of people. No one said they saw anything. So we came back, we pulled the camera up, and we saw where there was 12 or more individuals watching the crime being committed.
Even with the drop in crime, the chief says they're not content.
This is not a situation where it's law enforcement and the community. We are all in this fight together, and we have to unite in that regard.
Using a new piece of equipment in the pursuit of a safer city. In Natchez, Perry Robinson, KNOE 8 News.
Now, the city is hoping to install 32 cameras in total and will reevaluate their effectiveness over the next few months to see if they need any more.
Well, an arrest is made in a Lincoln Parish cold case. Louisiana State Police, working with the Sheriff's Office, arrested Lonnie Frazier Jr. He is accused of murdering Shirley Williams, who was reported missing in 2004 in the Fellowship community just south of Simsboro. Police say Frazier was a person of interest, but there was never enough evidence to make an arrest until now. He is now charged with second-degree murder.
Well, a man accused of killing a bicyclist has been arrested. Taurus Bray is accused of hitting 41-year-old Staquan Young on Highway 165 around midnight, April 16th. Now, police say Young was crossing the northbound lanes when he was hit by a vehicle, thrown from his bike, and then later died. Bray is charged with hit and run, driving, and failure to report a crash.
A Union Parish woman says her 4-year-old didn't come home after school Monday. She says the school put her on the wrong bus. T.C. Harper says she called Union Parish Elementary looking for her daughter London. She says the school told her that London might not even be in the same town. Harper says her daughter didn't get home until nearly 5:30 that night. She says she shouldn't have to worry where her daughter is after she's dropped off from school, and she says she expects better.
Like the same way you demand students listen and pay attention, the faculty should do the same. You should make sure you're talking to each other, making sure the students are on the right bus. If you know it's supposed to be 30 students on the bus, call roll. Do whatever it is you need to do.
Union Parish School Superintendent Ted Reeves says it was an honest mistake that put London on the wrong bus. He says there are strict procedures in place to prevent this sort of thing from happening, but this was just a case of human error, one he hopes will not be happening again.
Well, Slidell police arrested 2 adults after a kindergarten student was found with 3 bags of cocaine at a Slidell school Tuesday morning.
Yeah, the teacher contacted the school resource officer after the teacher saw the student holding a bag of white powder that was discovered to be cocaine. The child was also found to be in possession of 2 more bags of cocaine. The child had no idea about the drugs. Police later searched the child's home and found more drugs.
It's a terrible thing, but the silver lining in all this is that the teacher did a phenomenal job. Being alert, notifying the SRO, taking immediate action. God only knows what would have happened if this child would have ingested the cocaine, if another student would have ingested the cocaine. I mean, it would have been terrible.
Angelica Stanley and Ella's cousin were arrested on numerous drug charges and cruelty to a juvenile.
Well, new details tonight about the honor procession for Governor Kathleen Blanco that's happening in Baton Rouge tomorrow morning. After services at St. Joseph's Cathedral, state police will then escort her body to the Capitol. Law enforcement will then carry her casket up the steps to Memorial Hall, where you can view her body until 6 p.m. tomorrow night. It's part of a 3-day celebration of the former governor's life.
She was not afraid to take actions that required courage and that were not always in her best political interest. She always put the state first.
Now, visitors who are there to see the former governor at the Capitol tomorrow will be screened, and security will not allow bags larger than small purses. Well, Louisiana's health department wants to continue negotiating terms with 4 companies chosen to manage Medicaid patient care, despite an ongoing challenge to the contract awards. Now, Health Secretary Rebecca G. filed a request Monday with Louisiana's chief procurement officer, who is reviewing the contract awards to determine if state law was properly followed. Now, the 2 losing bidders for the multi-billion-dollar work are formally protesting the awards, accusing the health department of a biased bid review tainted by conflicts of interest. They want G to keep the health department from moving ahead with new contracts.
Meantime, Louisiana now has its very first human cases of West Nile. Officials say 9 people have been infected. 5 cases that infect the brain and spinal cord have been found. 2 in Washington Parish and 1 each in St. Tammany, East Baton Rouge, and Livingston parishes. Milder cases were found 1 each in East Baton Rouge and Washington parishes. And cases that don't really show symptoms but kind of turn up in testing were found 1 each in Caddo Parish and Washington Parish due to blood donations. So here's how officials say you should protect yourself.
Dog bowls, you want to empty those regularly, just like you would a bird bath, and make sure that you've got clean water in them all the time. This red candle holder over here, it holds just a tiny bit of water in the bottom, so after it rains, dump that out.
And you are still urged to use bug spray and wear long sleeves and long pants during the active hours.
Well, Louisiana has the highest rate of ADHD diagnoses in the country, according to a Blue Cross Blue Shield study. Now, the report shows that the state has an 11% diagnosis rate among children ages 2 to 11. That's more than double the national average of 4.6%. Now, Louisiana also has the highest medication-only treatment rate of 61.7%.
The factors in Louisiana that might make that more available is that we do have higher rates of unhealthy children. And so if you have unhealthy body, then oftentimes their minds can also be unhealthy.
Now, diagnosis rates are higher in the South and lower in the West, with a nearly 3-fold difference between the rates of the highest and lowest states.
Well, a frantic day at LSU. There were reports of an armed intruder on campus, and that forced evacuations. Well, the school alert went out around 3 o'clock, warning students to stay away from Coates Hall. It said to run, hide, or fight back. A witness says a member of the cleaning crew thought they saw someone with a gun, but the school says it may have been an officer in plain clothes walking around with a gun on his belt.
It was a little scary to think about that there could something could happen, but other than that, everyone just seemed pretty calm.
Well, after searching room to room, the all clear was given and the school returned to normal operations.
A Shreveport man faces more than 30 counts of non-consensual disclosure of private images, commonly known as revenge porn. According to the Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office, Andrew Kaufman distributed the photos in the parking lot of a Bossier Parish school where students were in attendance. Now, following an investigation, a warrant was issued for his arrest.
And that's what makes it the illegal part about it. Best course of action is obviously don't share your private pictures. It's very embarrassing for the person who has to live with it.
Kaufman is charged with 35 counts of non-consensual disclosure of a private image, in essence revenge porn, and that could carry up to 2 years per charge. He's also facing charges of obscenity and unlawful distribution of the operation of a school.
Monroe police arrest a man accused of offering money to a teenager to engage in a sex act. Records show Andrea Little admits to offering a 15-year-old girl money to perform oral sex on her. He is a registered sex offender and is now charged with indecent behavior with a juvenile. Meantime, a man is charged with cruelty to animals in Sterlington after he was accused of letting his horse starve to death off Walker Road. The Union Parish Sheriff's Office says following a complaint, they found a horse owned by Corey Taylor with no access to food or water and that it died several days later. He's now charged with felony cruelty to animals.
Well, more now on a story we first brought to you last night. A $32 million senior assisted living center is being built in Sterlington. It'll be located off of Lenua Road near Sterlington High School, and it includes gardens, farmers market, a movie theater, fine dining, a bar, and walking trails. And some of it's even open to the public. It also includes cottages, assisted living, and memory care. Now, they plan to hire about 80 people, and the mayor says it'll be a real financial shot in the arm the city desperately needs.
We're going to continue to grow, and even though as we work through some of our financial challenges, we're going to continue to grow and come out of this, and this is a big shot in the arm for that.
Now, this complex should open by spring of 2021.
Speaking of jobs, a move to help people find jobs continues. A group called Nova asks businesses what they need, and then they train the people to fill those jobs. During a luncheon to raise money in Monroe today, they also celebrated their success. They say they have helped place more than 800 people in jobs in 11 years. They say the jobs are there, and it's their job to guide those workers toward them.
Extensive studies have been conducted to see what the demand occupations are for Northeast Louisiana. We found them to be healthcare, customer service, the construction trades, and manufacturing. So those are the targeted areas in which we go after to put people to work in.
And the group says they put more than 60 people in jobs last year, which put $2 million back into the economy.